Hello and welcome to our workshop today on social proof marketing, leaders and followers, the importance of social proof. As we get started, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Comcast, the City of San Jose, International Line Builders, the California Department of General Services, the California Water Association, AT&T, and the Elite SDVOB network nationwide. Next, a little housekeeping. You should have a worksheet to complete during this workshop. We're going to use it in the second half of the workshop. We're going to take a little break about halfway through, and then in the second half, you'll use the worksheet to talk about the ways in which you can implement social proof marketing. This presentation today is based on the Awakened CEO system, a balanced and comprehensive approach to business growth on multiple levels. We talk about 7 different key performance areas in the Awakened CEO system: leadership, sales, delivery and service, marketing, product development, operations and administration, and financial management. And today's program is all about marketing. We're going to talk about what is social proof and define what that means. We're going to give some examples of social proof. And we're going to talk about why social proof is so important for you. We're going to take a little break to answer some questions, and when we come back, we'll give you ways in which you can implement social proof marketing in your business, and finished with an article on 7 things that you need to understand about social proof, and wrap it all up with next steps. So, to get started, what is social proof? We've probably all heard the expression of monkey see and monkey do. But the truth is that really smart people see, and really smart people do too. That just as a monkey will follow a monkey, that smart people follow other people as well. They follow smart people, they follow people who they think are like them, because we're all looking for social cues. What is social proof then? Social proof is also known as informational social influence. It's a psychological phenomenon where people copy others in an attempt to undertake correct behavior in a given situation. This effect is prominent in ambiguous social situations where people are unable to determine the appropriate mode of behavior, and is driven by the assumption that surrounding people possess more knowledge about the situation than we do. Why do we look for social proof? Frankly, it's because we don't want to make mistakes. We want to belong to the crowd, and we want to get along with the crowd because we believe that it is safer to go along with the crowd than to stand on our own. It is instinctual. It's one of those instincts that we are born with, which is the tendency to want to belong to a crowd because we know in a sense that it's safer being with our tribe and being in the good favor of our tribe than it is being outcast by that tribe. There are a lot of different aspects of social proof. One of the largest ones is conformity. We all seek to conform in one way or another. If you can remember back in high school, how it was important for you to be seen with the right people and be seen in the crowd, perhaps even to wear the right clothes or to speak the right language. Most people seek to conform in one way or the other. And if they don't conform, they may be subject to a lot of peer pressure, where the people around them encourage them, influence them, or even demand that they act and think and dress in a particular way. In worst cases, we have herd behavior, where we get involved with a large crowd, and that crowd is doing something, and we feel compelled, deep at an instinctual level, to behave in the same way that the crowd does. And in the worst cases, we see mob mentality, where the herd becomes a mob. It becomes angry and ugly and starts doing violent, terrible things. This sort of mob behavior, herd behavior, is known as the lemming effect. Lemmings have been known to follow the crowd into raging rivers or to even jump off of cliffs just because the crowd was doing it. We also have the bandwagon effect, which is one of those biases where we believe that the crowd knows more than we know, that they have knowledge that we don't have and have made decisions that are smarter than the decisions that we could make, so we jump on the bandwagon to be a part of the team. So here's some more examples. Employment offers come easier for those who are employed. If you are currently employed, or if you've only been employed for a few days or a few weeks, you will find it much easier to find new employment than those who have been unemployed for many, many months. In some cases, we see audience plants, which are people who are in the audience and who are paid or encouraged to laugh at the jokes that are being told on the stage, or to clap in a particular way, or to do a standing ovation at the end of a presentation or a performance to get the rest of the crowd to stand up as well. If you have 5 or 10 or 20 people who are enthusiastically jumping up at the end of a presentation to give a standing ovation, you'll soon see the entire crowd doing the same thing because they want to follow the leader and they want to get along. Canned laughter or laugh tracks are very popular on TV shows because it's easier for us to laugh if people around us are laughing too. Some nightclubs have very long lines because they know that the more people who are standing in line, the more attractive the line seems to be, and the more people who will actually join the line. Some nightclubs have a policy that says that even though there's plenty of room inside, we're only going to let a couple of people in every few minutes because we want the line to build. Because as the line builds, it kind of feeds on itself. People see that the line is long, so they want to stop and join in the line, knowing that because there is a long line, that what's inside or what's at the end of the line must be extremely valuable, else there wouldn't be so many people standing in line. Voting is also an aspect of social proof, especially when seeking consensus. I don't know if you've ever been on a jury before, but if the jury has 11 people voting one way and only one holdout, that holdout is subject to tremendous social pressure to change their vote and to go along with the crowd and make it unanimous. And social proof is really important when it comes to investments and donations. When people see that hundreds of other people have given thousands and thousands of dollars to a particular campaign, they are far more likely to give to that campaign themselves. When they see that dozens of others have already contributed, already invested in a particular program, they are far more likely to invest themselves as well. And here's my favorite, a McDonald's sign with the phrase that billions and billions have been served. When I was a very young child in the 1950s, the sign used to say that millions have been served, and then it was tens of millions, and then hundreds of millions, and now it's billions and billions served. Because after all, if billions and billions of hamburgers have been served, there must have been plenty of satisfied customers, and we can't go wrong if we choose something that everybody else is choosing in the first place. So why is social proof important? First of all, there is a growing number of ads. It used to be that we only saw a few dozen or even a few hundred ads a day. But now with the prevalence of digital marketing, we may see as many as 10,000 ads today, and we're having a growing skepticism of ads. In a survey in January 2013, they found that 3% of the people thought that ads were very accurate, 21% of the people thought that ads were somewhat accurate, 57% of the people thought that ads were somewhat exaggerated, and 19% of the people thought that ads were very exaggerated. That means that 76% of the people thought that ads were either exaggerated or very exaggerated and didn't trust advertising at all. And that distrust adds to the confusion. People don't know what to believe. Another survey indicated that 92% of consumers trust recommendations from family and friends, 70% say they trust opinions that are posted online, and 84% of Generation Y, that's the younger generation, reports that user-generated content influences what they buy. And surprising to me, 70% of baby boomers are influenced by online opinions. Baby boomers are people who are generally, I think, over 65 now. The baby boomers started in the mid-40s and ended in the early 50s. I was at the tail end of the baby boomer generation. That even us are very influenced by online opinions that we read. 85% of Americans use the internet to find a local business, 76% of Americans look at reviews for local businesses, and 72% of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. That's right, we trust the reviews that we see online as much as that we trust the reviews from friends and family. Here's an example of some very effective social proof marketing. Towel reuse increased by 33% when information cards in hotel rooms read that 75% of customers who stayed in this room reused their towel. People wanted to do what other people were doing, so they reused their towels too. And restaurants have increased the sales of specific items from 13 to 20% by calling them the most popular. When people are undecided as to what it is they want to order in a restaurant, they oftentimes look to see what other people are ordering and just choose that because it doesn't make any difference. And if other people really liked it and it's the most popular choice, then they certainly couldn't go wrong. We're going to take a little break now and answer a couple of questions. And when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about how you can implement social proof marketing in your business. Here's a couple of questions. Here's one that says, some people don't seem to follow the crowd. They want to be seen to be unique and different. Why is that, and how can we use social proof marketing with them? That is a very good question, and I'm going to urge you to think about that in a couple of different ways. First of all, thinking about their wanting to be unique as they're wanting to be noticed. It's not that they don't particularly want to be part of the crowd, it's that they want to be noticed so that they can stand out, so they can attract more attention. And secondly, they're probably wanting to resonate with a different crowd. It is a very rare person who is really a loner, who doesn't care what anybody else thinks and doesn't want companionship in any way. They simply don't value the crowd. Most people, as an instinct, value the crowd and value the safety of the crowd. Which leads us into our second question here on how do we develop that instinct. I've done a lot of research on early tribal behavior for another book that I wrote a couple of years ago. And what we find is that humanity's survival, the survival of the human species, depended on the tribe. It depended on the family first, but it also depended on the tribe, because a small group of people, of 3 or 4 or 5 people, were just simply not going to survive against the predators that are out in the wild. We couldn't protect ourselves from other tribes, from bears, from lions and tigers and other predators. So to survive as a species, we had to develop the instinct of being a part of a tribe and belonging to the tribe and knowing that there was safety in a tribe. If we did not have that instinct, and I suspect all of the people who did not have that instinct found themselves as loners and found themselves subject to attack. So I think it's part of the natural selection of the species that those who valued the safety of the tribe were those who survived and those who taught that to their children. Here's the third question. I only listen to my friends. What other people think isn't important to me, so what does social proof marketing have to do with me? Here's a couple of things I would invite you to consider. First is that social proof marketing is probably more important than you realize, either positively or negatively. And in fact, listening to friends and family is a very large aspect of social proof marketing, and we'll talk about that when we come back from break here in just a second. Welcome back to the second half of our program today on social proof marketing. In the first half, we talked about what social proof marketing was and why it was so important. And now in the second half, we're going to offer tips and techniques on implementing social proof marketing in your business. And this is where you want to use the worksheet that we talked about when we started today's presentation. It'll give you a place to note how you are currently using social proof marketing in your business and give you a place to jot down some ideas about how you can improve social proof marketing in your business. So we're going to talk about different types of social proof marketing: expert social proof, celebrity social proof, user social proof, wisdom of the crowd's social proof, and wisdom of your friends' social proof. First of all, expert social proof. Expert social proof is simply having experts tell others how great your products and services are. It's best if those experts are seen in lab coats and suits. We see a lot of experts on TV in lab coats when they're talking about pharmaceutical products, and we see them wearing suits when they're talking about expensive items and luxury items. It's best if your experts have titles and some accomplishments to their name. Saying that John Smith, who has a PhD from Harvard, carries a lot more weight with people who value what the experts say. And to implement expert social proof in your business, it's a good idea to be seen with the experts, to be seen on panel discussions, to have interviews with experts, whether they are interviewing you or you are interviewing them. And something that we've seen as a trend in the last 10 years or so are collaborative works, where someone will invite you to have the opportunity to contribute a chapter to a book that they are writing, so that you can be seen to have written a book with some famous expert, thereby inferring expert credibility to you too. Also, we could position ourselves at trade shows and other events if we're seen as being close to or similar to the other experts. Then we get referential credibility from being in close proximity with experts. And of course, you can simply hire experts, or you can hire actors pretending to be experts to be in your advertisements. The second type of social proof is celebrity social proof. And that's having a recognizable celebrity say how great your products and services are. The last decade or so, one of the most famous occurrences of that was Michael Jackson and his endorsement of Pepsi products. But we also see other ones like Michael Jordan and Hanes underwear. And come to think of it, by the way, what does Michael Jordan know about underwear? We don't know what he knows about underwear. He may know nothing about underwear. We know that he couldn't hit a curveball. So what makes us think his opinion about what is a good quality underwear makes any difference? But Hanes Underwear has paid him millions of dollars to endorse their underwear, and people are listening. People are watching. Betty White appears in Snickers commercial. Ellen DeGeneres is a cover girl. Samuel L. Jackson has a series of famous commercials about Capital One, and we don't know if Samuel L. Jackson knows anything about credit cards and the virtue of one brand or the other. And another example is the George Foreman grill. George Foreman is a large guy, so maybe he has a little bit of expert credibility when it comes to his own grills as well. But I doubt if John Elway really knows a Toyota from a Honda and what the difference are between those two cars. But nevertheless, when I lived in Denver, Colorado, I actually bought a car from John Elway Toyota, and I think that part of the attraction of that dealership was the John Elway name, because I thought he was a great quarterback and I admired him as an athlete. So celebrity social proof, actually worked with me in that little way. If you choose to implement celebrity social proof, you may be able to find marketing agencies that specialize in connecting you with celebrities, but be warned, the cost can be enormous, $10,000, $50,000, and for the most prominent celebrities, up to even millions of dollars to have them endorse your product. Here's a tip. Local celebrities may be much more cost-effective. So if you have a small market, it may be much more cost-effective for you to hire a local celebrity. The next type of social proof is user social proof. That's where people value the opinion of people who are just like me, because your prospects want to see themselves in the faces of successful and happy users and customers. To implement user social proof, you can get reviews on Amazon, and you can also get pictures your target market can relate to. It's very common for websites to have a picture much like the one that is shown here, where we have an Asian gentleman and an Asian young lady, a white male, a black male, and another Asian lady, showing that people from all kinds of different ethnic backgrounds like this particular product. The next aspect of social proof marketing is wisdom of the crowd's social proof. So wisdom of the crowd's social proof marketing is when you show that thousands of people or more like your products and services, like that McDonald's ad that we talked about earlier, where we see that billions and billions of hamburgers have been served. So if the crowd likes it so much, then it certainly can't be wrong for us. To implement wisdom of the crowd's social proof marketing in your own business, have lots of people recommend you. like you and connect with you. Be seen as somebody who is well respected and liked and appreciated and valued by hundreds, thousands, or even millions of people. It also helps to be seen on stage with hundreds or thousands of people in the audience. If you ever have an opportunity to do that, make sure that somebody gets a picture. Usually it's best from the side of the stage, but if not, from the audience themselves that sees you being on stage in front of hundreds or thousands of people in the audience, because that gives you some inferred social credibility. You can get a bestseller status for a book that you have written. You can have awards and recognitions that you publicize on your website and other places. And you can actually get an ad on TV so that you can say, as seen on TV. Because people infer that if your product has been seen on TV, then you must have something going for you, and it must be a product that is valued in some way. The last aspect of social proof marketing we're going to talk about is wisdom of the friends. And that comes from a variety of different sources. Referrals, complimentary posts where people post on social media something that's friendly or complimentary towards your business. Shared posts where people will share what you have posted on social media with their particular crowd. And affiliate relationships. To implement wisdom of the friends social proof marketing, it's a good idea to offer discount coupons, to give your friends and family and customers the opportunity to share a discount with their networks by giving them discount coupons. You can also just pay them for referrals, and you can have referrals and testimonials as a contractual requirement. So I know a person some number of years ago that turned me on to the value in doing that. That is part of the contractual requirement for his coaching services. He would offer a 13-week program for $5,000 and 2 qualified referrals, because in his particular field, he only coached executives, and executives don't listen to anybody else but other executives. The only way that he was able to promote his business was through referral-based marketing. So he had, as part of his requirement, referrals and testimonials as a part of the contract that people signed for his services. And you can also encourage people to share your social media posts. You can put out a post and then immediately send an email to your friends, or send a message to your friends, or post in a group somewhere and encourage people to share your posts so that other people will see that their friends like your products and services and will follow their lead and purchase those products and services for themselves. I want to finish up today by talking about 7 things that you must understand from a company called Kissmetrics. First of all, is that negative social proof doesn't work. For an example, if you put up a sign that says 4 years ago, over 22 million single women did not vote, in an effort to make women feel guilty about not voting, it simply is not going to work. Because people are going to see that 22 million people didn't vote the last time. Well, it must be okay for me not to vote this time. Second thing, positive social proof is more important than saving money. So if you say 77% of people do this, that's better than saying save 20% if you act now. That's right. People would rather follow the crowd, believing that they are safe in following the crowd itself, rather than believing that they are clever because they took advantage of a special deal. Aspect number 3 is that social proof works better with pictures because pictures evoke trust. So always put them in your testimonial, and having a high quality picture is best. Here's an example of one where this fine young man from NEC has given a testimonial about HubSpot. He says HubSpot is a perfect marketing tool for their business, etc., etc. And we list his name, and we list the name of the company that he works for. And in this particular case, we can click on the little link that says See Mark's Story and learn more about this particular recommendation. Number 4 is that people are influenced by similar people. So we want to make sure that we nail our buyer's persona and show people that people who look just like them, who sound just like them, are satisfied customers of your product or your service. Number 5 is that stories connect with people. People relate to them and remember them. One of my favorite sales trainers of all time, Eric Lofholm, says that stories suspend time. People just love stories. So if you can tell a story about your product or service, about how somebody has used it successfully, it's going to be extremely effective. One of the most effective forms of that story is the before and after form of that story, which says, I used to do blank, or I used to be in a particular way, then I did something, and now I am quite different. I used to be 50 pounds overweight, then I went on a Jenny Craig diet, and now my friends compliment my new figure. I used to be ashamed and embarrassed of the car that I drove, but then I went to John Elway Toyota and brought a brand new Camry, and now all of my neighbors are jealous, etc. So if you can tell a story about how somebody like them used your products and services to effect a transformation in their life, you can get a lot of value from that social proof marketing. Next is authority rules. We all have the halo effect. The halo effect says that if somebody is an expert or somebody is a celebrity, then their opinion counts more than other people. If someone is perceived to be attractive, successful, or smart, their opinions are given more credence. Earlier we talked about how Michael Jordan endorsed Hanes underwear, and while it's very doubtful that Michael Jordan knows anything more about underwear than you or I do, we give him extra credibility because he's one of the best, if not the best, basketball player of all times. And the 7th tip is the better to have no proof than low proof. So in other words, don't do it unless you do it right. If you put up a testimonial on your site which is really not glowing and doesn't have a picture with it and doesn't identify the source of it, then people will come to doubt that, and it will actually be a negative influence on them because they won't see who that person is and they won't trust the endorsement. And if they don't trust the endorsement, they're not going to trust you. And here's one more example. I remember seeing this on the internet a few years ago where somebody had posted that they had 71,000 subscribers to their email list, almost 26,000 fans on Facebook, 67,000 followers on Twitter, 8,560 followers on LinkedIn, 14,000 people in their Google circles, 1,600 people, 1,700 people subscribe to them on YouTube, and 2,800 people following them on some platform that I don't even recognize. So the more that we can show that other people are following us, liking us, connected to us, the more credibility that we have when we make claims about the value of our products and services. Here's the bottom line. The social proof is very important and becoming more important over time. Everyone is influenced by social signals, and confusion is increasing with the number of ads that we see, and that there's a lot of very simple things that you can do to increase credibility and results through employing social proof techniques. Here's what we've talked about today. We've talked about what is social proof, given some examples of social proof. We've talked about why social proof was very important. We talked about how you can implement social proof marketing in your business and shared 7 things that you really have to understand about social proof and summed it all up to the bottom line. Here's your next steps. Think about what you can do today to increase your social proof and increase the effectiveness of your marketing dollars. Always ask for referrals and testimonials. I know that most people hesitate to do so, but you need to get over that. As the leader of your business and as the person responsible for marketing, you always need to ask for referrals and testimonials. You can preface it by saying, hey, referrals and testimonials are a huge part of my marketing program. I really would appreciate it if you could say a few nice things about the products and services that you have enjoyed from our company. And the next thing is do it right or don't do it all. And as always, get coaching or support to accelerate your growth and progress. We're going to come back and answer another question or two, but before we do, we want to give thanks again to our sponsors. Comcast, the City of San Jose, International Line Builders, the California Department of General Services, the California Water Association, AT&T, and the nationwide network of Elite SDVOB. Now let's take and answer one or two more questions before we conclude our workshop for today. And here's a question that says, how do I get more testimonials? And I think I just answered that one that says, you simply have to ask for them. If you hesitate to ask for testimonials, then get over it. One of the things which really works, by the way, is to give people a selection of testimonials. In other words, write 2 or 3 potential testimonials that people might give. Instead of making it tough for them to come up with the words, you can offer them 3 or 4 testimonials and say, hey, can I put your name next to one of these testimonials? Would you feel comfortable saying these things about my business? And make it easier for them and make it easier for yourself to do that. And here's the last question for the day that says, tell me more about discounts and coupons. I'm glad you asked that question because this can be a very effective marketing strategy and one that I've recommended to my clients many, many times. And that is to set aside 20% of all of your revenue dollars for marketing dollars. And that's about right, by the way, that 20% of your revenue can be set aside for marketing and commissions. And the way this works is that you would give your clients a coupon that they can give to their friends and their networks that offers their friend a 10% discount on your services, and at the same time you offer an additional 10% to the person who has extended the coupon. So we set aside 20% of our revenues, 10% goes to the person who has referred us and has given the coupon to their friends or family, and 10% goes to the person who takes advantage of the coupon. Every coupon has a tracking code on it of some kind, so it makes it unique to the individual, so you can tell who is giving out these coupons and you can fairly compensate them. You may want to give the person who hands out those coupons the option of a second secret discount code that allows them to have the entire 20% off, where you would give the new customer 20% off and not give any money to the person who handed out the coupons. Some people actually like to do that more. So that's the bottom line. Make a discount coupon that has a unique tracking code on it. Tell the people who would hand out that coupon that they have the option of either extending the 10% discount or by giving them a secret code that it becomes a 20% discount. And I think that you'll find that those referrals will just come flying in. That's been our workshop today on Leaders and Followers, the importance of social proof marketing. I hope that you have enjoyed it. I hope that you will implement some of these tactics for social proof marketing in your business right away, and that your marketing dollars will be far more cost effective as a result. This is Paul Hoyt wishing you well in business and saying bye-bye.